I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. I got soul, but I'm not a soldier.
Javon Ringer, I think he's got soul and he's a soldier, if you ask me, because I'll tell you what, Paul McGuire, I'd go to battle with this kid any day of the week.
Any hour.
Any hour.
Day. I could do so much more. This guy, he leads the nation in carries. Yards rushing, touchdowns rushing. He can block, he can catch, he does it all. But today they're playing Ohio State in a really good defense. And I think the best middle linebacker in the nation, and that's James Laurinaitis. These two guys banged heads all day long a year ago. And it's going to happen all day long today, and we're going to bring it to you.
Michigan State hasn't been able, their seniors, to win this matchup with the Buckeyes. Stacey Dales, I think they have a shot today. They feel that way, don't they?
Well, they really do, Brad. You cannot underestimate the magnitude of this game for Michigan State. And I talked to quarterback Brian Hoyer earlier this week, and he said simply, this game is huge for us. He said, we've prepared all season as if every week we're playing for the Big Ten championship. And he said, what better team do you play than the team that's been there for the last 3 years? So as I bring in head coach Mark D'Antonio, coach, your players here have never defeated Ohio State. What kind of a mood do you sense from them today?
I'd say that'd be a bad mood.
A bad mood.
I'd say it.
Okay, you're going to see a freshman quarterback in Pryor. How much have you prepared for seeing Beckman, the senior?
We prepared for them both. We're ready to go.
Okay, that's all he has to say, guys. Back to you.
That's about all you get out of Mark most of the time. And he admitted to us in meeting with him yesterday, yes, this is a big game. Yes, I'm going against my good friend and my mentor, Jim Tressel. But he feels like he's got a disciplined football team that is definitely ready for the challenge at hand today. Ohio State won the toss, and they want the football first. We don't see that very often. Jim Tressel, who's got a national championship to his credit in Columbus. In 2002, they ran the table at 14-0. Right now, ranked 12th in the country. The only blemish, of course, the demolition by the University of Southern California earlier in the year. Have they gotten rid of that hangover completely? And Bob talked about from that time on, it became a freshman quarterback's team to lead. But will we see the fifth-year senior and one of the offensive captains in Todd Beckman today? We'll find out. 39th meeting between these two teams. The last Michigan State win was 9 years ago. Todd Bolesky's got it teed up, and here we go at Spartan Stadium. Lamar Thomas dropped the ball at the 6. Picks it back up and nowhere to hide. Boy, that's the way you want to start if you're Michigan State at home. Ashton Henderson made the play on the special teams. So Terrell Pryor, the most highly recruited player in the entire country last year. 3-0 as a starter, but numbers, as Bob said, much better as a runner than a passer. They have to start at their own 8-yard line, and that's down there in the student section. I think Terrell knows he's in a hostile environment already.
I think he just asked the fullback what was the snap count.
Oh boy. Beanie Wells wrapped up after maybe a yard. Let's take a look at our Best Buy impact players for Ohio State's. And you know Beanie Wells is going to have to carry a huge load today. We talked about James Laurinaitis, the leading tackler, Big Ten Player of the Year defensively last season. And in the back end, Malcolm Jenkins, he's got 3 interceptions, and he knows what to do with it if he gets his hands on the football. Beanie got a yard. 2nd down and 9. And Pryor in the gun. He's going to keep it. And he got the 15, and now the corner. Pryor, there's what he does best. All the way out to the 41-yard line.
That's exactly why he's in the ball game, Brad. To run the ball, the little zone read, the little option read. His passing skills are not what Beckman's are, but this is what he does best. The defensive end on this side has got to read the play. He gets in no man's land, and then the big true freshman, the #1 recruit in the nation, as you mentioned, just outruns a lot of people.
Got a nice block by Brandon Smith. Todd Beckman looking on the sideline. First down, Ohio State. Now they've got breathing room out at the 41-yard line. Pryor comes up throwing, completes it out to about the 48-yard line of Brandon Smith. Jim Tressel talked with us about the focus his team had this week.
Consistency. Anytime that you're struggling a little bit on any side of the ball, you want to make sure you go back and say, are we doing too much? Are we doing too little? Are we doing the right things for these guys? And so, just trying to become more consistent in who we all are, coaches and players.
11 straight Big Ten road wins. Didn't score an offensive touchdown last week, and that raised a lot of eyebrows, I guess, if you're a Buckeye fan or maybe around the Big Ten. But, Mark D'Antonio says, hey, who cares? They won the football game.
That's true, but there's style points involved also.
Right.
And when you start the season off as Ohio State did at number 2 in the nation, and then after you get beat the 3rd game of the year by USC, you drop down to 10 or 12. You need style points, and this offense, as you mentioned in the opening, is struggling a little bit at times with Pryor.
Basically a 3 tight end set out there on 3rd down and 1. No way for Beanie Wells. A loss of 3. Brandon Long led the way.
There was no threat of the pass. Michigan State had 11 guys up on the run.
Well, the thing about it is, and you mentioned it before, the defensive end, Brandon Long, look at the 47. You have to stay home. He does stay home, and watch him get to the outside. Wells has no place to go. He played his position perfectly.
A.J. Trapasso to punt. It's a nice one. Otis Wiley lets it go, and it goes all the way to the end zone. So Michigan State will start at the 20-yard line. I got to ask you guys a question. Did Terrell Pryor not come up to the line on 3rd and 1 and wave his hands as if to say quiet down? Where did he think he was?
Hey,
he
yes.
did. Oh, maybe he said bring on the noise.
Yeah.
I thought he did it the other way. Thanks, guys. The guys in the truck straightened it out for me. Yeah. I almost fell out the booth over here.
But I guarantee you, the first snap of the game back inside his 10,
he wasn't asking
he forgot the snap count and was asking the fullback what was.
Thanks, guys in the truck. I just about fell out of the booth. His arms were going the other way. Okay. First down at the 20. And it's Javon Ringer. And Ringer goes for only about a yard. Rob Rose. Our city X Factor is that guy right there, Brian Hoyer. 13-8 as a starter, his last crack at Ohio State. And he's been, as Stacy said earlier, really looking forward to this one. If he plays well, and he really has the last 2 weeks, his statistics have come around. If he can just give him a little bit of offense other than Ringer, Michigan State would be in pretty good shape.
Yes, it's very true.
There's the 5 wide receiver offense for Hoyer. And he's going to go deep and incomplete. Mark Dell was out there. And that could have been a big play as we take a look at some of our big play guys and our impact players brought to you by Best Buy. Mark Dell's one of the guys we picked out, and he was open on that play. Defensively, Trevor Anderson will get after you. He leads the team in sacks. And Otis Wiley, we've seen him in punt return formation. He knows what to do with a punt return, and he knows what to do as a defensive back. One of the best in the Big Ten at intercepting passes. Third down and long. Their opening possession for the Spartans. Hoyer got away from a man in the backfield, throws it short to Ringer, but he's got a long ways to go and a short time to get there. And Laurinaitis and company are there to meet him.
Well, the key for Hoyer is, like you said, Brad, he needs to be a complement to the running back Ringer. He needs to get some yardage through the air, but the other thing is don't turn the ball over. This is going to be a defensive struggle.
Paul talked about the matchup, the key matchup, Laurinaitis and Javon Ringer. Did you see Laurinaitis pat Javon on the helmet after he hit him?
He said,
I'll see you later.
We'll be talking most of the day.
Those guys, since the beginning of the season at the Big Ten meetings in Chicago, when they got to hang out together, great respect for each other. Not a great punt. Small's got to really hustle to get it, and Ray's got some room to run into Michigan State territory at about the 47-yard line. No score here early at Spartan Stadium.
This telecast is available in high definition. Brought to you by Pioneer's new Kuro.
No score, almost 5 minutes into the game. And Ohio State flipped the field, basically. They started at their own 8-yard line after the run by Pryor and the punt, and Michigan State unable to do anything. Now they start in Spartan territory. I think they're going to start 5 yards back farther, but anyway, they've got good field position.
Start. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Jim Cordell, the right guard, playing next to a freshman center, Grease.
Yeah, and that's, you know, what any offensive player, what can be worse than having a true freshman quarterback and a true freshman center snapping the ball?
The only thing is,
that's why they asked the other guys, what's the snap count?
Well, that's what happened this previous play. That's what happened the previous play. The cadence of the quarterback just a little bit off. Nervous a little bit, maybe.
Beanie Wells cuts back now, and he's got some room to run, and a blocker in front of him is quarterback. Beanie's all the way down to the 33-yard line. Boy, what a nice cutback pickup of 20 by Wells.
This is what you get when you over-pursue. And what happens here at Michigan State, over-pursues. The guys on the left-hand side of the line, stay there. Just wait. He's going to come back eventually. Beanie Wells goes to his left. Watch. They're all over there. Look at all the green shirts. So when he comes back, the only guy in front of him is his quarterback, Pryor.
Pryor got one in the chops, trying to throw a block. 3 wide receivers set now for Pryor. Michigan State might bring some pressure off the corner. They do. It's a run all the way for him, and maybe got a yard. Adam Decker made the tackle.
I'll tell you what, Pryor better bend over a little bit, Bob. He runs too straight up. They're gonna kill him.
Yeah, that was a quarterback draw from shotgun formation. I don't think they fooled anybody thinking that they were going to pass with Pryor in there on first down.
Now they line up 3 receivers to the right and 2 to the left. And Pryor all alone again in the Ohio State backfield. On 2nd and 9, he loads and fires complete. Going to be a first down inside the 20. Posey with a catch and run. So Ohio State's moved it down into the red zone as we think about our game plan for the day here in the opening 6 or 7 minutes of the ball game.
I think Ohio State on the road, just give it to Beanie and be done with it. And for Michigan State, the defense has to lead the way. In the last 2 wins for Michigan State, 6 takeaways by the defense.
Michigan State's defense is #1 in the Big Ten in red zone defense. See how they do in this particular instance. It's Pryor on the keeper, stiff arms a man, and he's going to cruise. Touchdown. As Bob said earlier, that's why he's in there. 18 yards and a touchdown.
This is what he does best. He reads the defensive lineman, takes off to the left. Now Weaver out there got a chance to make an open field tackle, and it's just like Pryor, who's barely in college, 3 or 4 months into his college career, just stiff arms him and says, "Not today, son."
Pretorius extra point is good. 47 yards in a hurry. And the last 18, that ultra-talented freshman quarterback we talked about a few minutes ago. Terrell Pryor, touchdown.
ESPN College Football on ABC. Brought to you by Best Buy. You happier. Dr. Pepper. Drink it slow. Doctor's orders. And Nissan, passionate about performance and proud sponsor of the Heisman Trophy.
Oh, look at that pie. Mike and Denise Busley founded the Grand Traverse Pie Company in 1980. That's apple pie made with real Michigan apples, gang.
Ooh. Where's our pies? Where's our pies?
I think we got some coming up at halftime.
A little apple pie a la mode.
I heard they got a chocolate pie for our guys in the truck. You know the reason for that. Our producer. Chocolate fiend Bob Goodrich. Aaron Petrie to kick. Glenn Winston and A.J. Jimerson await on the other end. From the 2-yard line is Jimerson. A.J. found himself a little crease, and he pops it out across the 30-yard line, a 29-yard kick return. So now Michigan State, their second offensive possession. The first one netted them about a yard before they had to punt, and a short punt led to a 47-yard touchdown drive, basically by Ohio State, capped by Pryor's run.
Well, let's keep in mind now that Javon Ringer, who leads the nation in carries, he averages 35 carries a game. He's carried it once, he's caught one.
This time they get better field position. All three wide receivers down to the bottom of your screen. Now they empty the backfield. They're going to throw a screen out there and got it to Martin, and Martin has a first down to pick up a 15 out to the 46-yard line.
Man, I like this play, Bob. I really like this play. It's a long, almost like a long handoff.
And I like the fact that they're throwing on first down. You just cannot. This is a quality defense. This unit on defense for Ohio State is the best in the game. Of all the offensive units and the defensive units here in this game, this defensive unit is the best and probably the best unit in the Big Ten.
Here's the toss to Ringer, and Javon gets into Ohio State territory where he says hello to Laurinaitis and company again. And Javon Ringer, he's got a lot of respect for that Buckeye group that Bob's talking about.
Ohio State's defense is one of the best defenses I've ever played against, man. They're really good with getting off blocks and gang tackling, man. They swarm to the ball, and they have such tremendous athletes on that defense. It's just hard to really just lock on them. And, I mean, they play very motivated football, man.
They held him to 49 yards rushing last year. Here's a quick throw out again. Oh, what a move by Martin. No wonder when and the ball's on the ground, and Ohio State's got it. Donald Washington going the other way with a convoy. Big play one way, bigger play the other.
I'll tell you, in a game, plays like this just break your back. You're moving the ball. You've just been scored upon. You're moving the ball down the field. You're in your opponent's territory. You've got a first down. Everything's going for you, and you lose the ball.
Well, it's a freshman, the true freshman Martin, who makes a nice move on Coleman.
Had the ball in the wrong hand.
Yeah, you can't do that.
So they got him in open space. They really like Martin's ability, but he gives Ohio State a golden opportunity here from the 17. Wells still going down to the 10. Remember Ohio State last year, and we did the game. They had a huge lead, and then Michigan State put on some pressure late in the game before losing again. But Chris Beanie Wells has been there before. He had 221 yards in this matchup last year. First team All Big Ten. Over 2,600 career rushing yards. And one of those 200-yard games was in this matchup last year. Second down and 3 at the Spartan 10. Wells again cuts back in the middle. Looks like he's got the first down at about the 6-yard line.
You know, they run Pryor, obviously, to the outside. But Wells, it just seems like they're working between the guards with Wells because they found something in the middle. And the middle guy for Michigan State is Adam Decker, who is number 55.
You talk about games against ranked opponents. Beanie Wells usually comes to the plates, including last year against Michigan when he had his career high day of 222. One more than he had against the Spartans. Now it's first and goal for the Buckeyes. Wells, did he get there? Flags are down, and they say touchdown.
Yeah, and they also say holding.
Chop block, number 71 and 50, offense, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, repeat, first down.
Well, it was the freshman and the old senior, Waring and Brewster, who combined on the chop block, and that negates what would have been a touchdown. Jim Tressel's team comes in ranked 12th in the country. They lead 7-0 on a 18-yard touchdown run by the freshman quarterback Terrell Pryor, following a short punt by Michigan State. Michigan State hasn't gotten anything going offensively until moments ago when they threw a pass to one of their star freshmen and he dropped it. And Donald Washington took it down into Michigan State territory on the fumble recovery. Maurice Wells comes into the lineup as an extra wide receiver. First and goal, but way back now, and it's quarterback draw all the way. Here goes Pryor. 20, cuts outside, got the corner, out of bounds at the 10.
He has got that move down where he just shows you a leg and takes it away and just keeps gliding around the defensive backs.
I mean, he really doesn't look like he's moving very fast. He just glides. And the man is 6'6". But you would think, that these guys can come up and hit him. Watch, when you're going to see exactly what Bob is. That's beating Wells on this play here, going in for the touchdown.
Yeah, we were trying to show the chop block on Raring and Brewster. Normally, you don't see that on a running play. That's normally a call you'll get on a pass play, pass protection.
Timeout taken by Ohio State. They lead by 7, 5:28 remaining in the first quarter.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Best Buy.
I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. I got soul, but I'm not a soldier.
That's part of 62 rushing yards already on the day for Terrell Pryor. Second down and goal. Buckeyes at the Spartan 10. 3 wideouts to the right. Pryor is alone in the backfield. Beanie Wells is in as a wide receiver on the left side. They go to Rubisky. He broke a tackle. Nope, they're going to say his knee was down. Let's check in with Stacy.
Well, Brad, just an observation down here on the Michigan State bench. These players look like they have a glazed look on their faces, if they weren't expecting any of this to happen. 2 touchdowns potentially here. They, at the same time, though, Brad, are eager to get out there. Somebody wants to make a big play, and their leader, Brian Hoyer, he doesn't look rattled. That's one of his strong suits.
They need a big play on defense right here, because if they can hold Ohio State to a field goal, they've won the battle momentarily. Third and goal. The fans are sensing what Stacy was talking about. Pryor throws, touchdown. Brian Rubisky.
Pryor does, you're going to freeze the defense, because Rubisky was way behind the defense. He was 5 yards behind the defensive secondary, and they had a blitz on. I understand Michigan State did.
But when you get outside the pocket, you buy so much more time. Usually you have 3 seconds to throw. He had 5, 6, 7 seconds. The defensive backs can't cover that long.
Victorious extra point is good. Brian Rubisky, the leading receiver for Ohio State, his 5th touchdown catch of the year. As Bob and Paul said, it took way too long to try to cover number 80, and he's in the back of the end zone. 14-0 Buckeyes. Not what Michigan State was hoping for the first 10 minutes of the ball game, to be trailing by 2 touchdowns. Mark D'Antonio trying to keep some calm over there and give some direction at the same time. Brian Rubisky with the touchdown grab has made it 14-0. Bob and I talked to his dad and mom, Terry and Cynthia, and his little brother outside the stadium before the game. Terry, wide receiver coach for the Falcons, who are idle this week, so got a chance to watch his son play. Looks like his little brother's going to be a pretty good receiver too.
Yeah, he looked like to be about 6'4".
Here's the kick. Somebody's got to get to that ball. Winston does at the 10. And he's tripped up as he got out to about the 24-yard line. Well, let's take you back to the touchdown.
2 things here. Watch right here. the receiver going across is going to be wide open. But watch Pryor as he's going to start across the field. He just jukes out one of the defensive ends. Now right here, right there, he should be tackled. But keeps going on. Guy in the back of the end zone's got plenty of time to get open. That's what a mobile quarterback can do for you. Somebody that can buy time, let your receivers get open.
Brian Hoyer now in the shotgun. Gives off to Javon Ringer. Laurinaitis all over him. Still trying to drag him backwards. But he got forward progress to about the 26-yard line. There they are again, slapping hands on helmets. Those two knew that they were going to have about a 3.5-hour date today.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And Laurinaitis, if you watch him, he doesn't move until Ringer goes by him or goes the other way. Then he may move. But he just sat in that middle of that defense and waited for him to come to him.
Second down and a long 8. There's the guy calling the shots defensively. The All-American. Hoyer, play action, wants it all, going deep. Incomplete, intended for B.J. Cunningham.
I like the idea, though. Michigan State needs to stretch the field. Everybody's stacked to stop Javon Ringer. You've got to throw the ball down the field, and they've missed on 2 opportunities.
Fellas, you know, we got a lot of football to play, but I thought this drive that Michigan State's got to get something going on offense just to set their mind straight a little bit.
The first drive was 3 and out and a poor punt. The second drive was a completed pass, but they fumbled the ball. Ohio State picks it up and runs it down inside the 30-yard line.
Penalty is declined. Third down.
There was a flag that I did not see on the field. And the penalties decline. An eligible receiver. And Ohio State declines it, forcing a 3rd down and 8. Now Cunningham trots from one side way over to the left to try to get lined up in time for the snap. Ohio State thinking about bringing some pressure. They back out of it. Hoyer wants to throw a screen. Ohio State's all over it, a loss of 4. Jenkins and Abdallah are both there.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Abdallah never moves. Abdallah, number 93, sits in the corner of that defense, and he never once moved. He just stayed with Ringer and made the tackle. That play was busted before it even started. Watch
Laurinaitis here. It's a double zone, 2 deep on the outside. Laurinaitis gets deep to the middle of the field.
Oh, nice punt by Bates. Ray Small back at the 24, but Small's got some room to run. Small with a hurdle and out to the 44-yard line. That might have been one of those kicks that traveled too far. Sort of outkicked the coverage, a 54-yard boomer, but a 20-yard return.
So far, Ohio State is winning on all 3 phases.
Yep.
Special teams especially, and they're winning the defensive side, and their offense has scored 2 touchdowns.
A 2-touchdown lead with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter for Jim Tressel's Buckeyes. Now they can just stay in their rhythm that they've created already offensively. Got an eye backfield behind Pryor now with Beanie Wells the tail. Play action. Pryor's going to go long, and he's got a man out there, and he's got him. Touchdown. Pryor to Brian Hartline. 57 yards and a stunned Spartan Stadium.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, this is one of those examples where Hartline goes up and he is saying on the way up to himself, this is my ball. You are not going to intercept this ball. This is mine.
It's a great call. Watch the corner blitz. Then now he's running against the safety, Wiley. It's a great call. You get him down 14-0. You get fairly good field position. Go for the big play.
Play is under review on whether Hartline's knee was down on his way to the end zone. But a pretty happy quarterback. How about those numbers? That's a pretty good quarterback rating for you.
I didn't think he could throw that well.
When you got him that wide open, he can.
Oh. All right, here's Hartline.
Yeah.
He's down. The ball is going to be brought back to the 1 yard line. Because it's where the ball is when his knee hits.
Get the call from Todd Gearlings. Here it is.
Ohio State's ball, 1st and goal at the 1 yard line.
I think that's the first time Paul's been right in, what, 3 years?
Well, 2.5.
Yeah.
5, actually. I go back to when I was doing some pro stuff. I wasn't right for 2 years.
Oh, you don't count there.
There's a guy who was in a sugar fight.
So it is not a touchdown, but a 56-yard throw down to the 1. And now they hustle up to the line. Beanie Wells. Extra tight end on the right. He goes that way. Didn't get there.
They're giving him a touchdown.
Now they say touchdown. So it's about to be 21-0, no matter how you slice it. For Beanie, that'll be his 3rd touchdown of the year. Brutus enjoying what's going on here on a road trip for the Buckeyes. Extra point is good. Boy, this is a quiet place except for the several thousand wearing scarlet and gray. Beanie Wells did the honors from a yard out for his 25th of his career, but this is how they got there.
Watch the corner over here. He's going to come on a blitz. But watch as the guy picks him up and the wide receiver goes straight down the field. Both aggressive on both sides. The defense with a corner blitz. Good pickup. Ohio State offensively going for the big play down the field. It's a little bit underthrown. He had to wait for it. He could have laid it out a little bit further and he wouldn't have had anybody near him.
Hartline still smiling over there. He'll take it either way. That's a span of 5 minutes and 41 seconds, guys. 21 points.
Yeah.
That'll stun you a little bit.
You're right. That's the best way for a visiting team to take the crowd out of this ball game.
That was Ohio State's longest play from scrimmage this year as well. The 56-yarder to Hartline. Well, the sun's coming out. Maybe that'll help the Spartans. Winston from the 9. Ooh, took a big shot at about the 27-yard line. Now Jeff Burton looking to bring momentum from his win this past weekend to Martinsville. Jimmy Johnson trying to hold off the rest of the pack. The hard-charging Chase Field. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues in Martinsville on ABC tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Coverage starts with NASCAR Countdown. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. There's how they look.
Paul, your 99's fading.
No, hey, Biffle is the guy I have. He's only 86 points behind.
You had the 24 card
No, I
last week.
didn't.
First down at the 27-yard line. So now Brian Hoyer and company in a 21-point hole. Quick throw, complete pickup of about 8 out to Mark Dell. We go out to Matt Weiner. Matt.
Juan, I'll keep you updated on what's happening throughout the nation, starting with this Taco Bell update.
Oklahoma on the bounce back this week after that epic loss to Texas. 100th meeting with Kansas. Sam Bradford to Matt Clapp, his fullback there. 12 yards goes for a score. Sooners lead it 7-0 in Norman first quarter.
What a shock that Sam Bradford would throw a touchdown pass.
Did he say an epic loss last week?
Ringer finally getting something going. Ross Holman made the stop.
You know, we talk about this young man. I talked about him at the beginning, and he shows you his power, his stability. Watch this. Right now, he's going to break a tackle. Now, when he gets hit again, watch him move back to the inside, stumbling, and then picks up another 3 yards.
The fourth guy finally made the tackle for the white shirts.
First down for the Spartans, the 44-yard line. Play action. Hoyer hit as he throws, and I mean really leveled by Rob Rose. Brian's going to take a minute to get up.
That hurts.
That hurts.
Yeah, you should have better protection on this because it's a first down pass. It's a little play action.
Very little.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's one you feel until about Tuesday.
The thing that Michigan State, all the Michigan State offense can do right now is just put a drive together, run a good play after good play, and get out and score 7 points. Just get one back right now.
Can't get them all back at once, that's for sure. 1:39 left in the quarter. Hoyer in trouble again and goes down. Back at the 39-yard line. First sack of the day. Marcus Freeman there, and Laurinaitis is going to pat him on the helmet. Those two are never apart, be they on the field or off. Jim Tressel calls them frick and frack.
I tell you what, I'd find a way to block those two guys just to get them apart.
Well, it's the defensive line that beats the offensive line on this one and flushed Hoyer for Laurinaitis.
Laurinaitis and Marcus Freeman, the two always together. I said yesterday, if I was an NFL team, I'd draft them first round and second round, just throw them out there, let them play another 10 years. That pass intended for Blair White is incomplete.
The Buckeye defense entirely won that series of downs. They aggressively went after him, sacked him, forced him to throw the ball quickly, knocked him around, and then on third down, out of bounds.
There's mom and dad and Joe Laurinaitis there on the right, his mom on the left. They made the drive over from Minneapolis. Another great punt by Bates. Way back at the 5 is small. But again, he's got some room to bring it back. And now the ball is out. Michigan State close. Do they have it or not? Greg Jones was there unless Small got back on it.
This could be a huge turnaround for Michigan State.
Ohio State's got it.
I mean, that is exactly what the Spartans needed, was something to kickstart them in this ball game.
They unpile bodies. Spitler is the guy with a football.
There's a huge recovery for Ohio State.
And there were two green shirts down there. I just don't know how they didn't come up with the ball. Here comes the ball out. Look at, you see the two green shirts are right there. He's trying to pick it up and run with the football.
You guys remember last year when two guys on what would have been a third turnover knocked each other off the ball in the fourth quarter? Looked just like that, didn't it?
At Ohio State?
Yep.
They scored two defensive scores in the second half, and they had another one they could have scored at.
Ohio State's going to take a timeout here with 39 seconds remaining. They don't want to make a mistake down deep in their own territory, so Pryor comes over to talk to his head coach. Well, first three drives, you can't do any better than that. But look they didn't have to travel that far.
Yeah.
With 39 seconds left, we got a Who Am I for you. If you're out there and you've been playing along for the last few years. I was the Buckeyes head coach for the first time they won a national championship, then went on to become a Pro Football Hall of Fame coach. Who am I? I'm a guy that liked brown and orange, and they named a team after me. Paul Brown, first national championship, and then on to the Cleveland Browns and subsequently the Cincinnati Bengals. Second time Ohio State's got to start inside their own 10. Pryor had a 32-yard run to get him out of trouble the first time they had it. This time Beanie Wells tries to run him out of the shadow of that goalpost down there. Adam Decker made the stop and might be the last play of the first quarter. A quarter dominated by 12th ranked Ohio State. This is as good as they've looked in a long time.
Yeah,
but it's been some mistakes by Michigan State.
Exactly. It's just what I was going to say. Michigan State with the fumble after the pass was completed. and now an opportunity to get on one of the Ohio State mistakes, and they didn't get on that.
185 yards of Buckeye offense is not going to make Mark D'Antonio a happy coach at the end of the first quarter. All Ohio State in the first quarter. The Buckeyes on the road lead 21-0.
I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. I got soul, but I'm not a soldier.
Ohio State starts the second quarter at their own 8-yard line. But they have a 21-point lead. Wells. Beanie Wells is going to have a first down, or so it appears, as he got it out to about the 14-yard line. We welcome you back to East Lansing. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Paul McGuire. Stacy's down on the sideline. Very autumnal sweater, by the way.
Autumnal.
How do you come back from this? You know, you got to get your head right if you're Michigan State
well,
right
if you're
now.
Michigan State, you just got to take your time. As quickly as they scored, you got 3 quarters to score. But you got to slow it down. You got to stop Ohio State from scoring and get your guys going.
Laurinaitis, your guy, playing like a madman out there.
Well, he is, but he's patient. You know, he's one of those guys that believes in his defense, that Ohio State defense, and he stays where he's supposed to be. You don't see Ohio State overrunning plays.
There's a big hit in the hole as Beanie Wells got out near the 20-yard line.
And one of the ways,
about 5.
Brad, one of the ways that Michigan State can get back in this ball game is what they just missed a little while ago, is a turnover. We talked about defense has to lead the way. They're 6th in the nation in taking the ball away. They've got 16 takeaways in 7 games, so they can do it. They just got to knock the ball loose.
Yep, they came in plus 10, which is very impressive on the turnover margin. Pryor now on the gun. They keep it on the ground inside. Pickup of about 2 for Wells. Eric Gordon made the stop. And now an all-important third down for the Michigan State defense. They just like to slow things down here, let them, they being Ohio State, have to punt.
And I guess the Buckeye fans have already forgotten about the fact that this offense didn't score a touchdown last week at home. They look pretty good now, don't they?
Yes, they do. Both coaches talked about how good their practice weeks were. Right now, one's paying off, the other one isn't. 3 wideouts, up to the left, 2 this way, on 3rd down and 2. Pryor going that way, and one hopped it, incomplete. And they will have to punt.
That is his only mistake so far in this game, Ness.
Yeah, and Hartline was open too. Just not a good throw, and he knows it. So Trapasso comes out to punt. Otis Wiley should get pretty good field position out of this on the other end. Trapasso, a 4-year veteran back there kicking the football for the Buckeyes. Wiley's got to go a long ways. And Ohio State will let it roll down to the 29-yard line. Can Michigan State get something going offensively? We're going to find out when we come back. 21-0, 12:49. Michigan State starts actually at the 39, where the punt touched one of the Ohio State players who was coming downfield. So they get a little better field position out of that as Javon Ringer goes for 4.
By Ross Holman.
Terrell Pryor, that on an 18-yard touchdown run to the end zone, capping a short drive of 47 yards. Then he loaded up and threw under Rubisky in the back of the end zone to make it 14-0. Laurinaitis and the Ohio State defense has been suffocating Michigan State all day. Beanie Wells has a 1-yard touchdown, and that's where we are. And you can see the dominating statistical advantage for Ohio State so far. Draw play inside, and Ringer picked up a couple as we go to Matt Weiner in New York. Matt?
All right, Brad, Verizon Wireless update. Oklahoma's won 21 straight on their home field. They've got Kansas this afternoon. Todd Reesing was perfect on a 57-yard touchdown drive, punctuated by Jock Crawford. Sooners have bounced back for the DeMarco Murray touchdown run, 14-7 there, and potential for serious ugliness today in Pullman. USC 4 for 4 touchdown drive so far, 27-0 early.
Oh boy, things aren't going well in the Palouse, are they? 3rd down and 3. Hoyer reloads, throws down the sideline. Mark Dell. I think Brian Hoyer's going, where's the flag?
Yeah, they're looking for a flag. He wanted to hit him quickly, and then he ran around Jenkins, and there is no flag.
Anderson Russell looked like he was draped all over him on that second move. We'll get another look at it.
Well, you know what?
No, it wasn't.
There was really no contact. If there was any contact at all, it was by the offensive man.
It's a good no call.
Yes, it is. Bates kick. Bounces, taken on one hop by Small. And Small got about 7 out of it. And got it out to the 22-yard line. All Buckeyes right now with 11:14 remaining first half, and they're up by 21.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Best Buy. ESPN College Football on ABC, brought to you by, powered by Pontiac, official performance machines of the NCAA. Aflac, ask about it at work. And Taco Bell, think outside the bun.
You talk about throwback night for Midnight Madness for Tom Izzo and company. Coach D'Antonio was there. Coach Izzo always has something special. He's got the 70s garb on in honor of the 79-80 national championship team of Magic Johnson and company. We'll talk to the coach coming up in the 3rd quarter, but they had a big-time crowd for Midnight Madness last night with college hoops just around the corner on ABC and ESPN all winter and spring long for you. There's the basketball arena, and there's where we are at Spartan Stadium in front of what might be a record crowd, a stunned crowd at this moment, in that Michigan State is trailing 21-0 with 10:50 remaining in the first half.
Michigan State's got to create something, and I think, and Bob mentioned it before, in that first quarter, they got to do something defensively.
Pryor under center here on 2nd down and 6. They'll blitz off the corner. Pryor steps up, fires deep, nobody home. Hartline was the closest guy as far as a receiver.
Yeah, he just didn't understand the receiver ran an adjustment, and Pryor didn't recognize it.
Time right now for our trivia question for the week. When was the last time Michigan State won the outright Big Ten championship? Think that one over. Goes back a little ways.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Are you taking that duck home?
Duck and I are good friends.
Your timing with the duck is pretty good.
It's better than it is with you two.
I take exception to that.
You should. He was talking directly at you, I think.
3rd down and 6. And he got there. Nice run.
This kid, when he's in the open field, I don't think there's anybody that can bring him down one-on-one.
Well, I'll tell you what Ware does. Number 9 is a defensive back. He waits on him. You can't wait on this guy. You got to attack him. When he waited on him, Pryor just ran right into him and got the first down.
When he attacked him in the past, he just juked him and ran around him.
Well, he's got to get better.
Boy, he's getting good right now. What you may not realize if you haven't seen a lot of Ohio State games, Terrell is 6'6", 235 pounds. So if he looks like Vince Young out there sometimes, it's because he's about that size. Completes the pass out here. And it comes out to the 43-yard line. You know, we talk a lot about this week in college football history. You can talk about any week in college football history. We want to say happy birthday to the Hoss. KJ, as Keith would say, now as I enter my 8th decade on this earth. Keith is 80 years old today. And Keith, I don't know if you shot your score or your age today on the golf course, or if you're watching, happy birthday, buddy, from all of us.
Happy birthday, partner. I remember these guys carrying the ball. I'll tell you what he said about these guys carrying the ball.
Here's Speedy Wells, and he's carrying it to the corner and then some. Wells knocked out of bounds finally as he got down to the 34-yard line, maybe the 33. It ain't that heavy.
Well, Keith Jackson said, you know, about these running back carrying too much, he said, why not? He says, it ain't that heavy and they don't belong to a union.
Well, he comes off, might be favoring that foot a little bit. Remember, he missed 2.5 games with a foot injury.
Well, you remember now, they ran him about 5 or 6 times to the inside. This is the first time they really got him to the outside, and he kind of outruns the linebacker on the outside.
I thought Beanie was limping a little bit as he headed to the sideline. He's got a first down, though, for his teammates at the 32-yard line. Play action, Pryor, a throwback. Got it to his tight end, Smith. Brandon Smith tripped up, but he's all the way down to the 12-yard line. Adam Decker might have saved a touchdown right there.
I'll tell you who's done a nice job. It is Jim Tressel and Bowman, the offensive coordinator, and the offensive coaches.
They've mixed it up.
They don't ask Terrell Pryor, the true freshman, to make a lot of tough throws. You don't have to read. They're not asking him to sit in the pocket, read coverage, go to your first, second, or third guy. They're rolling him out, getting the throw, throwing a little bit to the outside, safe throws, a lot of short catches and long runs.
Maurice Wells stays in there as the tailback at the 12-yard line. He'll get the call following his blockers. And he got down to about the 7.5. I think Beanie Wells thinking about coming back out. As I watched him on the sideline, he looked down at that foot a couple times as if to say, are we okay? Are we still together here? He's back on the field, so I guess he and his foot are back together.
What I don't like to see with Michigan State, Bob, is that they're just walking around. They're just, I mean, they're so far out of sync, and they're not really hustling like you would, you know, we saw them against Notre Dame when they played here.
Second down and 7. They can get a first down inside the 2. Pryor is going to go down for a loss one of the few times today.
Yes. You know, they force you to play assignment football. If you're responsible for the inside gap, the middle linebackers, you got to stay there. If you're the end, you have to stay outside. And if you're the corners, you got to stay out there. These guys got all the responsibilities. Don't come in and try to help on an inside run. Stay outside long and make the play.
Third down and 10 at the 11. Rubisky is wide to the left side, Hartline to the right. Pryor's pointing at both on a big third down here. Draw play. Beanie Wells, touchdown.
I don't think his foot hurts.
Not the way he hopped in there like the Easter Bunny in the end zone from 12 yards out.
Yeah, I don't think his foot hurts him at all. That's a draw play that was just wide open. The whole middle of that field opened up, and Beanie Wells was not even touched. Watch the middle of the field, folks. Here it comes. Here's the draw. He's going to go to his left. There's the hole. Look at this. You don't even see a green shirt till now.
Watch the bunny hop. Boop.
And Fortner got just nailed with a forearm.
77 yards in 9 plays. A lot of it, Terrell Pryor being Terrell Pryor, and then at the end of it, it's number 28 being number 28 with his 26th career rushing touchdown. Beanie Wells has made it 28-0 Buckeyes.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Best Buy.
I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. I got soul, but I'm not a soldier.
Do the beanie hop. Hop, hop, hop. Sort of like the bunny hop, only it's the beanie hop.
Oh, really?
Yep. My mom might be the only one still watching, so Bunny, thank you for the bunny hop line.
Wow.
A lot of football yet to be played, but Michigan State's got to have something go right before halftime. They are in desperate need of anything to help improve their situation, which is dire straits right now, down by 4 touchdowns. Jimerson will take it from the 2-yard line. A.J. Jimerson got out to about the 29 as we go out to Matt Weiner in New York. Matt.
All right, thanks, Brad. The Sports Center right now is powered by Vizio. Interim head coach Dabo Sweeney led an emotional Clemson this week after Tommy Bowden's resignation. The Tigers couldn't stop a Georgia Tech rally and fell to 1-3 in the ACC. 7th-ranked Texas Tech outscored A&M 23-2 after the half to pull away and remain unbeaten. And no Sean Moreno ran for 172 yards as number 10 Georgia beat Vanderbilt.
So Georgia Tech and Georgia big wins. Texas Tech a come from behind efforts. Two of those teams in the top 10, as Matt said. Here 20th ranked Michigan State's trying to find something go right and finally did. Nope. Bobbling it, they say, to Deion Curry, and now Brian Hoyer said hello, as James Laurinaitis has said so many times to Javon Ringer. He says, I got enough for Ringer. Let me get one on the quarterback here.
And he doesn't slow down.
Oh, man.
He just doesn't slow down. You know, when you say you got to get yourself set to make a football move, he made a football move right from the beginning.
Wow.
Said he tries to lead by example.
Yeah, well, his dad kind of taught him some of those things, he said, along the way. He talked with us about being little animal to his dad, the original animal. We'll hear that right after this snap if we get one.
Tell you, Michigan State's having a problem. On the last play, Hoyer had to call in the fullback, Hawkins, and because he was on the sidelines, he only had 10 guys. And now there's just mass confusion with the offense.
Here's a little pitch play on the backside to Ringer. And Javon Ringer goes out to the 45-yard line. Laurinaitis didn't make the tackle, but he was in the vicinity, and he talked with us about his dad's influence on his football career.
Keep working, and you're never good enough. You know, he always has that perfectionist mentality, and somebody's working harder than you out there, you know, around the country, trying to either take your spotlight or be the best, and trying to make sure you outwork them every day.
His dad worked at professional wrestling for a long time. The Animal, part of the Legion of Doom with Hawk back in the day. Here's flags all over the place on a end around, I guess.
Excuse me, Ness, but they got two guys in motion running at each other.
Looked like Canadian football there for a minute.
Really did. I mean, they are so disorganized.
Well, they're losing their composure. They're down by 28, and they're a bunch of kids. And they say, how can we get all these points back? At one time, you can't. You just have
illegal shift. 2 men in motion, offense. That penalty's declined. Second down.
And the amazing thing is all year long, as you saw that face on Mark D'Antonio on the sideline, composure has been their strong suit, basically.
Yes. They've been very disciplined, very composed. Mark's been doing a great job of changing the culture here at Michigan State, but this looks like the old times.
Yep. 2nd and 12, screen pass to Ringer, trying to look for his blockers. Cuts back and got to midfield, maybe to the 49-yard line. Michigan State's bench has been a little bit quiet. How's it down there right now, Stace?
Well, Brad, when I told you guys they had a glazed look on their face earlier, that has changed to a venomous look on their face. There's a lot of emotion down here. And in fact, one of the coaches just went up to the defensive players and he said, I want to see some emotion in your eyes right now. I want to see somebody make a difference. I need to see something different from you guys to make a difference on the field. So they're definitely affected. Well, who wouldn't be right now, Brad?
Yeah, there's Justin Kershaw, and you can see in his eyes they're listening. They'd love to see their offense get something before halftime. That's not what they were looking for. Laurinaitis all over Hoyer after Larimore created the confusion and a loss of 11.
You know one thing, Grace, when you sit there looking at whatever they do, they're not fooling this team. And here comes Laurinaitis now. He's going to come in on the play, but Larimore was the guy that makes it. I mean, how can a guy be that tough and speak that softly? We talked to him yesterday, you know, it's kind of strange.
The kick will go down to about the 21-yard line with 4:15 remaining. Number 33 having himself a game for the Buckeyes. ESPN's College Football on ABC presented by Best Buy. Ohio State's been the best today, 28-0. They lead with 4:15 remaining in the first half.
Ness, and they're averaging over 11 yards of play on first down.
That is phenomenal. Beanie Wells. And the ball came out at the end, but they're going to say he was down after a pickup of about 9. Well, a little bit earlier in this quarter, we asked you a trivia question for the week. When was the last time Michigan State won the outright Big Ten championship? You got to go back a ways. You have to go back a ways. 1987. And they went on to the Rose Bowl and defeated USC, led by Lorenzo White. There's Lorenzo. We saw him yesterday.
Looked good.
He did look good. He looked a little bit more like an offensive lineman than he did.
Watch it. Just be nice.
I know. That was good to see.
Smiling,
Lorenzo.
happy. Good to see him. Living down in Fort Lauderdale. Do you just lay out for that Aflac? That timing is very good.
It's all about, the duck has direct contact into my headphones. That is one smart bird, I'm going to tell you. I protected him like crazy last week when duck season opened up, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Coming up, the halftime report in about 3 minutes. The guys will give you all the scores and highlights of the earlier games and a look ahead to what is in store for you tonight. Third down and 2. They're going to bring some pressure, but they run right by it. And it looks like a first down for Beanie as Otis Wiley made the stop on it. He had to get to the 30, and I think that's right about where he got planted by Wiley. Oh. Beanie is smiling because he's already got 100 yards and a couple touchdowns. So that is his 18th 100-yard plus game in his career.
I'll tell you who's dominating this game is it's the offensive and defensive lines for Ohio State.
Yep.
The line of scrimmage. I mean, we see it in Beanie Wells and we see it in Terrell Pryor, but there's some big gaps up there for those guys in the running backs.
Maurice Wells in now, and he'll get the call. Picked up about 3. Out to the 33 and out to Matt Weiner in New York. Matt.
All right, Brad, here's our nominee for the Pontiac game-changing performance. An emotional day at Clemson. Georgia Tech trailing in the fourth quarter when Josh Nesbitt puts it up for Demarius Thomas, and the Ramblin' Wreck Dabo Sweeney's debut as Clemson's interim head coach, 21-17. To cast your vote, just log on to ESPN.com starting at 9 tomorrow morning and search the word Pontiac.
Demarius Thomas, who dropped the ball that would have been a touchdown, ends up being Georgia Tech's hero nonetheless at the end of the day. Pryor hesitates, thought about throwing, and he'll take the sack now. He wasn't going to put that one in the air. And so Michigan State, Greg Jones comes up with a big play and then gets hammered by his own teammates. Our Pacific Life game summary today. Been rocky seas for the Spartans, but everything going right. Terrell Pryor cruising to the end zone and then going to the end zone to Brian Robisky. That made it 14-0. Beanie Wells has added 2 touchdown runs, including a great stiff arm and the beanie hop right there. And that's where we stand at 28-0.
You know, when we talked to Trussell the other day, we were asking him about, the sacks that Pryor takes, and that's his 13th of the year so far. But those are, for him, it's smart sacks, Bob. I mean, he's not throwing the ball away.
Well, it's exactly right. He'd rather have him take a sack than throw the ball up for grabs and get it picked off.
Well, the aerial coverage for our game, courtesy of the Outback Steakhouse Airship. Bloomin' Onion 1. Bloomin' Onion 1 Airship. Fan favorite every week on our ABC ESPN college football broadcasts. Bloomin' Onion would taste good about at halftime, boys.
Well, isn't it a gorgeous day here?
Yeah.
All the colors and
the colors are blooming too.
Yes, they are.
Third down and 13. Beanie Wells trying to run by a blitz, and he won't be able to. Nice job by Michigan State.
3rd and 13. They don't ask him to drop back and throw the ball down the field. Read you. Do a draw and we'll punt the ball away. Don't make a mistake.
Otis Wiley showing some of that fire that Stacy said they needed, and you can see he's fired up. He made 2 big tackles, and he'll be the recipient of the punt after this timeout. Minute 17 left in the quarter. Reminder, near the conclusion of our game today, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevy will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's General Scholarship Fund. What a day it's been for the Buckeyes. Beanie Wells, Terrell Pryor, Hartline, Rubisky, Laurinaitis, Freeman, all have played extremely well. Big game coming up tonight, too. Don't forget, college football on ABC is the #1 team in the country, Texas Longhorns. And they're coming off the big win over Oklahoma, but they've got Chase Daniel and Missouri to worry about tonight down in Austin. That'll be a big one.
That's a tough assignment.
Brought to you by Southwest Airlines tonight at 8 o'clock on ABC.
That ball won't be in the air much tonight, will it?
Punt going to the sideline. Nice job, actually, by Trapasso to keep it out of Otis Wiley's hands in any kind of return. I think Matt's got another Big Ten update for us. Let's check in with Matt in New York.
You're absolutely right, Brad. #3 Penn State, unbeaten and at home, but against Michigan, a team they've lost to 9 straight times. And sure enough, this is Brandon Minor, 5-yard touchdown run. He's carried it 7 times for 78 yards. And so far, the Wolverines have shut down the Nittany Lion offense. It is 10-0.
Oh, man. How about that?
Another top 4 team goes down.
Well, they got a lot of football
well,
up there.
that's true. But
that ball, is it intercepted? I believe they're going to give it to Ohio State. Kurt Coleman flying out of bounds on that long ball from Hoyer.
Well, you know that Kurt Coleman came from the middle of the field to make this interception, and he really was flying. He catches the ball. Watch this. Look at where he is. He never gave up on the ball, and that's a good catch.
Now you got to look at that angle. That one's a little different than the other one.
Yeah, you got to be. Well, they're reviewing it. Mark's thinking about challenging it.
Shut it down.
Doug Worthington's the guy that put the heat on Brian Hoyer, who hung it up there, and then Coleman trying to make his 3rd interception of the year. He might be out of bounds.
Did he have possession when his knee hit the ground? And I guess in the replay booth upstairs, they're going to let it go.
So here's Ohio State. Pryor trips on takeoff. Might have tripped over his own center. And a loss of about 5. Well, it's been all Ohio State. If you're just joining us, we're late in the second quarter. Terrell Pryor put on a show early, both running and throwing. Beanie Wells is over 100 yards rushing with 2 scores. And the #12 Ohio State Buckeyes looking all of the #12 team in the country right now. Michigan State ranked 20th, trying to snap a 6-game losing skid against the Buckeyes, and they're going to have to regroup with Mark D'Antonio at halftime because they're down by 28 or more at the break. Pryor, he's going to take the sack again. Eric Gordon gets him this time. Well, the one thing, and Paul said it earlier, Bob, you mentioned it too, he's going to take the sacks instead of put that ball out there and have somebody intercept it.
Yeah, I think that's the 1st or 2nd time he dropped straight back in the pocket. And all he was looking for was to throw it deep down the right or left sideline.
Well, let's go down to Stacy.
Coach, simply, what's your reaction to the score?
Well, we were fortunate. You know, we got a fumble back on a punt, and we've had some guys make some plays. This is going to be a long battle, and my reaction is it's nothing in my mind.
How do you address your players when you're up 28-0?
Well, you address them and you say, you've been watching these guys on film all week. They never stop playing. They're going to come after you like crazy, and so we got to keep going.
Why has your defense been successful?
Well, they put a lot of pressure on, but, you know, they've been successful a half. Let's talk after the game.
All right, thanks, Coach.
At half, 28-0, Jim Tressel's Buckeyes. The guys will have all the scores and highlights coming up for you shortly. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC, presented by Best Buy from Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan. All Ohio State at halftime. 28-0, just about set to start the 3rd quarter as we go down to Stacey Dale. Stace?
Well, Brad, it's never easy to approach a coach in a situation like this, but Mark D'Antonio from Michigan State, very gracious with me. I asked him how he addressed his players. He said, we've got to reach down, reach back. He said we haven't been down like this yet this season and really last year, so we'll see what we've got. And also, guys, very important here, Kirk Cousins, backup quarterback for Michigan State, just taking snaps from the center. It looks like he'll be starting at quarterback for Michigan State and not Brian Hoyer. Keep a lookout for that, Brad.
All right, thanks, Stacy. And Brian Hoyer, I think from the time James Laurinaitis got him right under the chin on that blitz, I don't know that Brian was ever the same.
I think he hit him a couple times.
I think he did.
If he didn't get him once, he got him twice.
Michigan State will get the ball first. That's one good thing. They better pick it up first, though, and they won't even be able to get a kick return out of it. It's going to be at the 15-yard line, where Cousins apparently is going to be the guy that's going to take over the controls of the Michigan State offense that played twice from scrimmage in the first half in Ohio State territory. That ain't good enough.
That's not good enough, and not a good start for Michigan State in the second half. But all you can do is come out and win the second half. Score offensively, stop them on defense.
Need some special teams help too, I think.
Special teams help, and the other thing is they're third and long all the time. They're averaging like 3rd and 8. I mean, you just can't play like that.
Well, here's number 8 for the first time today. Javon Ringer, who had 40 yards in the first half, picks up 4 more. And only his 8th carry of the afternoon. So Kirk Cousins, a redshirt freshman out of Holland, Michigan, 6'3", 197-pounder. And he's only thrown 4 balls this year so far. It's been Brian Hoyer's team.
Hoyer is a 5th-year senior. This will be a battle next year between Cousins and Keith Nichols, the transfer from Oklahoma, who is a Michigan guy who committed to Michigan State and then decommitted when D.L. Smith left, John L. Smith.
Ringer about 2 yards short of the first down. Ross Holman made the stop. As we check our Pacific Life game summary statistically in the first half, as you might imagine if you just joined us in a 28-0 game, it's not going to look so good on one side and a lot better on another side. 274 yards and 7 yards per play.
Ooh.
And Michigan State with a couple of turnovers. That turned into points.
That's what I said at the beginning of the game. The game plan for Michigan State, the defense needed to lead the way in getting some turnovers, and it's been just the opposite.
Here's Cousins' 5th pass of the season, and it's good for a first down. And it's out to the 40-yard line of B.J. Cunningham. Pick up a 17. Well, that'll settle the butterflies maybe a little bit.
Well, you know, it's a lot easier throwing the ball when you have protection and you have room to throw the ball. Hoyer in the first half, he didn't have any time to throw the ball. Cousins did.
That's a first 3rd down conversion by Michigan State today. Now Cousins in the shotgun. On first down, Michigan State, their own 40. Comes up firing again, and another nice throw, complete out to the tight end. And almost got a first down to Charlie Gantz. Yeah, good throw and catch there.
Take a look at the protection. Ringer in there to help the offensive linemen who do not need any help. Nice throw.
How about that move by the tight end?
Yeah, Checkwood just tried to knock him over with a shoulder block.
So now they go to 2 tight ends on short yardage. Trying to get across that midfield stripe. Barely, but it's going to be a first down at the 49. So Cousins in. Brian Hoyer, the senior, over there on the sideline with the headset on. We talked about some of the plays in the second quarter. Watch this one. I think from that point on, Brian, and I know he's a tough kid, but I'm not quite sure he knew where he was after that.
Yeah, he got hit a couple of good ones, and Laurinaitis, whenever he hits you, you're going to get hit. I don't know whether he's listening to music or the plays, the coaches talking or what. Maybe some birds.
Cousins, deep middle. Got it complete down to the 17-yard line of Mark Dell.
Everybody always loves the backup quarterback.
Well, the one thing about Cousins is that the defense of Ohio State, they probably didn't practice against this guy. They don't know how he throws, what he does. But just take a look at this throw. This thing is on a rope, and it hits Dell right in the gut.
Mark Dell, one of our impact players at the beginning, missed the game last week, had an injury, but he had a huge game early in the season against Cal. And now the deepest penetration of the day for Michigan State. Cousins going to the corner to Dell again. Flags down in the end zone on Chekwa. And he may be hurt, or his feelings are.
I think his feelings are hurt. And maybe his shoulder.
Well, he grabbed his arm.
Yeah, it looks like he extended his arm, and his shoulder may have been injured.
Do you remember what Tressel said to Stacy on the way off the field?
Yeah.
He said, there's no quit in this Michigan State football team. He said, we've got a lot of football to play.
Well, this is definitely what they needed. A sustained drive fueled by a backup quarterback. Probably weren't expecting that, maybe. But it was all Ohio State in the first half, with Terrell Pryor throwing for a touchdown, running for one. Beanie Wells scored twice in the first half. Had over 100 yards against Mark D'Antonio's defense. And that look on Mark's face pretty much tells the story. But they could get a smile out of this thing if they can get a touchdown on their opening drive of the third quarter. Brian Hoyer struggled, was knocked around and intercepted, and now Cousins 3 for 3 on this drive to open the third quarter. And now they're helping Chekwa off the field.
Yeah, it looks like it's a shoulder.
And while we check on that, let's check in with Stacy again.
Well, Brad, just a quick update on Brian Hoyer. He did take a shot in the first half to his head, and he's just a little shaken up right now. So it is definitely a physical issue relating to the first half, Brad.
Yep, thank you.
Look how quickly Ohio State substitutes. When Michigan State sent in their subs, immediately Ohio State sent in their substitutes to correspond with what Michigan State was doing.
First and goal, Ringer runs into a wall of white. No gain.
Yeah, we ain't gonna try that again.
That's now Javon's got to redo the foot gear.
Yeah, that's just the opposite. That's just the opposite of a spread offense. They had all 11 offensive guys in about a small area, and they had all 11 defensive guys stacked in there.
First time that Javon hasn't gained anything on a carry. They got that full house backfield again. Here's Cousins on play action. Wide open to the tight end for the touchdown. Charlie Gant had a couple nice catches on that drive.
This is Charlie Gant's third touchdown of the year. And just watch this. He just delays at the line of scrimmage, and they kind of let him go by. And once he does, he's wide open in the back of the end zone. Nobody there. Nice throw. Nice catch.
First touchdown throw of the year for Kirk Cousins. Brett Swenson for the point after, which is good. And just 10:51 remaining in the third quarter. Opening drive for Michigan State is successful, and that's exactly what they needed. Backup quarterback, big old tight end, touchdown Spartans.
This telecast is available in high definition. Brought to you by Pioneer's new Kuro.
What's a starting quarterback do when his backup comes in and leads a touchdown? Just what Brian Hoyer did. Nice job, Kirk. 85 yards in 8 plays. And Michigan State finally on the board. Just 4 minutes into the third quarter.
People always ask, why does a backup come in and always go right down and score? I mean, he's relaxed. There's no pressure on him, and he knows how to get things done. And he's just great to see, get an opportunity to play.
Lamar Thomas from the 8-yard line. Thomas out across the 30 to about the 32 as we go to Stacy.
Well, we wouldn't have a game really if we didn't talk to Tom Izzo, head coach of Michigan State basketball. Coach, thanks for joining us. Now, first thing out of the box here, we saw what you did last night. What were you thinking in that costume?
Well, I know Brad upstairs and you down here, y'all did some goofy things in your life, and I thought it was a lot safer than rappelling down from the ceiling or riding a motorcycle in, so I look like an idiot, and I do that once in a while.
Well, getting to your team, Drew Neitzel's gone, but Kalen Lucas is in. Tell us about your freshman star.
Well, he's been special. You know, Kalen Lucas is going to be a great player, and he had a great freshman year, and I think he'll have even a better sophomore season.
There's only one other team in 11 years that has played 114 top 20 programs. That's North Carolina. You guys are doing it. Tell us about your schedule.
Well, I have one of those theories, play anybody, any place, anytime, and you know, we've been 1-6 through that schedule at times, and so tested my sanity. But at the same time, I think it's great, you know, for our university and for our program, and that's why I do it.
Okay, and lastly, Coach, you look at a game like this, what's going through your mind if you're down by this much?
Well, I got so much faith in Mark D'Antonio. I love the guy. He's been awesome for us, but I've been there before. Duke came in, you were down 20, you know. Sometimes that happens. If we can bounce back the second half and play better, who knows what will happen here, and I'm pulling for us.
All right, Coach Izzo, always a pleasure.
Thanks, Stace.
One practice and his voice is almost gone. He's right, though. Mark D'Antonio's teams don't quit. Otis Wiley, we saw fired up he was earlier, and he just made a big hit on Beanie Wells, and it brings up a 3rd down and 7. And they force Ohio State into a punt here, and all of a sudden you're going to have the whole stadium, and they're coming up to life right now, as a matter of fact. Blitz off the corner. Pryor's going to run it to the left, and he's going to get the 1st down. Out to the 48-yard line.
See, I don't understand. I just don't understand this. You know that there's only 2 guys in that backfield that are going to handle the ball and run with it. One is Beanie Wells, and the other one is this guy, Pryor. Now look at on the outside.
Well, the fake to Beanie Wells, one of the best running backs in the country, holds a lot of the people in there. The linebacker Jones finally gets out and makes the tackle, but you get this guy Pryor on the outside and nobody is going to bring him down by himself.
He got 13 on a 3rd and 7, and now back to the Wells and down to the 44.
That was a critical 1st down pickup for Ohio State.
Sure was.
But one of the things, the reason I asked that question is because, okay, Brandon Long is number 47, is the outside linebacker. He cannot make that play inside or to the left side. He's only responsible for the outside on his side of the field, and they're not getting up there. Just get up there and wait.
See the first half leaders for Ohio State, Pryor, Wells, and Hartline, and what they did. Brian Hoyer is warming up, and Kirk Cousins is throwing it back. So we'll wait and see who's the quarterback next time Michigan State gets it.
Cousins had his helmet on.
One did, one didn't. And now the run is very close to a 1st down for Beanie Wells. Greg Jones, another tackle for that Spartan defense.
See, this is what I was just talking about. Now that time Brandon Long is the man that stayed on the outside, forced it inside, and then he had help to make the tackle. And the guy, you know, that makes the tackle is Jones.
So that's going to be 3rd down and short. Yeah, they're going to bring the chains out. We'll check for sure.
They didn't make this. It's going to be 3rd down. Got new glasses.
Yeah, they worked by about 3 chain lengths or so.
See?
So now if you got a 6'6", 235-pound quarterback, you would think you just lean in there a little bit. And Pryor has done damage with his legs already today.
Well, when you stop and think, you say 6'6", 235 pounds. When he gets outside running on one of these cornerbacks, I mean, the only thing that makes him small is when you say quarterback. You say 6'6", 235. He's bigger than any cornerback that's playing in the country.
3rd down and inches for Ohio State. At the Spartan 42. There's 6'6". And the few inches needed, it looks like they got. As they unpile bodies with 7:52 remaining in the quarter. And they put it down, eye it, and say, let's see it again. They're going to check with the official measurement coming in again. Don't forget, chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues at Martinsville on ABC tomorrow. Coverage begins with NASCAR Countdown at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Jimmy Johnson trying to hold back the late chase charge of the rest of the pack.
I'm told now that only like the top 2 or 3 guys have a chance.
My guy.
Point wise.
My guy.
Your guy?
Biffle.
You got a chance.
The first down by Pryor. The 3rd time he's run for a first down today. At the 42-yard line now. Ohio State with a new set of downs. Hartline in motion, and may have been in motion toward the ball. Flags are down at the snap.
Ball start, number 80, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Tress.
Actually the other side, Brian Robisky.
Tress on the sideline had called a play action deep pass. They had just crossed the 50, just picked up a first down. So he called a play action deep pass, and then they got the penalty.
Did you see how that right jaw was locked on the sideline because he knew it was there?
That was a good play, and I had my receivers down there.
I'm not going to give you another play until next time.
Oh yeah, you need to go run that this play.
1st and 15 now. Pryor in the gun. Wells maybe to the line of scrimmage. That's about it. And they throw Beanie out of the pack. Other Big Ten scores today. Northwestern was a winner over Purdue. Iowa put it on Wisconsin. Michigan leading Penn State by 10.
Wow.
Indiana and Illinois coming up tonight.
You know, the last 2 weeks, 2 of the last 3 weeks, 3 of the top 4 teams in the country have gone down.
Yep.
You think there's going to be an undefeated team this year?
No.
There it is. We waited for a couple weeks, folks, for Bob Greasy.
We got him.
Draw play to Wells. Beanie trying to cut it outside. They're not going to let him. Nice play by Eric Gordon, the outside linebacker.
And this is the one thing that Michigan State had to do. They could not allow Ohio State to take this ball, drive it down on them, run about 7 or 8 minutes off the clock and score, even if it was a field goal. They just couldn't do it. They have to hold them here and get the ball back because it was only a 4-minute drive and they scored when they got it right at the beginning of the beginning of the second half.
They've run it 8 straight times. One would assume they would throw here, but with a freshman quarterback, who knows? And he doesn't want to get intercepted. That much we do know. Pryor, the straight drop flags are down. Now he throws back a wide open guy in the middle of the field. Short of the first down is Rory Nickel, the tight end. But again, penalty markers at the line of scrimmage.
This looks to be on Ohio State.
It is.
Sometimes if you watch the line judge, it's which way he throws his flag. He'll throw it on the either side of the line of scrimmage.
5-yard penalty.
That's the second motion penalty they've had on this drive.
Yep.
One on a wide receiver, that one on a fullback / tight end.
And I think some of it has to do with the quarterback's cadence. You know, Terrell Pryor has got a lot of stuff going for him, but the thing he doesn't have is experience. And when you get up there and you're in a new stadium and you think you're doing the cadence, you may see something and not do the rhythm the same way every time.
So now they're backed up to the 45-yard line. And Michigan State might bring some heat this time. Ohio State plays it safe with Beanie Wells, and Pickleman made the tackle. And that will bring out the punting unit.
Yeah, that's one thing that Tress is not going to put Pryor in is in a situation to fail. He's not going to have him throw the ball on 3rd and 15, 3rd and 14, or whatever.
And he knows he's got a veteran punter that has been able so far today to keep it out of Otis Wiley's hands as a punt returner. They put some pressure on him that time. Still, he knocks it out of bounds rather than put it in the hands of a guy that's a very good return man. Who's going to return a quarterback? Looks like Kirk Cousins when we come back.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Best Buy. ESPN College Football on ABC, brought to you by Dodge. Introducing the all-new Dodge Journey. If you can dream it, do it. Dodge. Grab life. College Game Day is built by the Home Depot. You can do it, we can help. And Bud Light. The difference is drinkability.
That's the Apple Butter Festival annual fall celebration in Lansing, displaying churned apple butter in the copper kettles. They got the cider there, the old-time crafts. Paul wanted a gallon of cider sent up in halftime. Here's a little swing pass out to Javon Ringer. Ooh, man. And they're still hitting him.
That was Jenkins.
Yeah.
Number 2.
You don't get to play in this secondary for the Buckeyes unless you can tackle.
Malcolm Jenkins can tackle.
Oh, he just did.
He's got 3 interceptions this year. He blocked a punt and had an interception last week in the close win over Purdue. One of those guys that had an opportunity to go to the next level last year and decided to return for his senior season. 2nd and 5. Inside handoff, draw play, Ringer. Javon Ringer out to the 41-yard line. Jenkins in on the tackle. We talked with him about his reasoning on coming back to Columbus for one more year.
The times that we have here are just irreplaceable, and those are things that I wasn't ready to give up, and I'm not ready to make football a profession. You know, I love football. I think college football is the purest state of football, and I love it here.
You know, you're out there with your brothers every day practicing.
Good for
playing.
him.
Yep.
He's got it right.
First down at the 41. Throw over the middle is complete to the 46 to Mark Dell. And Kirk Cousins continues to impress, putting the ball out there and trying to get Michigan State back in the football game.
Cousins sat on the sideline the whole first half, watching the ball game, seeing what was going on. They went into halftime, and then he came out and said, all right, son, you get a chance to go out there and play. And like I said, there's no pressure on this guy. He's relaxed. He saw what was going on. He said, just call the play and do it.
And he's 6 for 6. 7 for 7. First down into Ohio State territory for B.J. Cunningham.
You know, Ness, he looks so relaxed. I mean, he's just sitting there. He's just looking around. Just saying, I agree with Bob 100%. He's just kind of sitting there saying, you know what? I saw them doing this. Here's what they were doing when they were doing that. So why don't I just adjust myself, and I'll just sit back here and throw the ball.
He's got Michigan State back into Buckeye territory at the 47 here. The late stages of the third quarter. 2:35 remaining in the third. Blitz coming. Ringer trying to run through it. But guess who's there?
Yeah. He just can't get free.
Well, James Laurinaitis. Must be nice to be life on Mars and be able to play like him. That's the next great cop show. Has arrived on ABC Thursday at 10, 9 Central. All new Life on Mars coming up on Thursday.
The two guys.
Yeah, I've seen that show.
You like that show, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I like that. Yeah. It's like back in the 70s when they were wearing old mutton chop sideburns and a little bit longer hair.
Let's not talk about hair, huh, pal?
James Laurinaitis doesn't have any hair. A lot of tackles, though. Low snap. Cousins handles that. Throws complete. Inside the 35 to Blair White. Boy, you talk about having a little pressure. Here comes the ball. It dribbles back to you. You got to pick it up, try to find your receiver, and then you throw it out there for a completion.
And Blair White, when you look at him, you talk about a guy going after a football. Here it comes, Grease, on the ground.
On the ground.
Picks it up, throws it. It's a little high, but what's this? Thank you very much.
You know, it just shows, hey, I can handle a little adversity. I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting the center to get me the ball nice and clean, but I can handle this.
8 for 8, including a touchdown. Now the end around, double reverse. Keyshawn Martin wants to throw the ball, and finally does at the end, incomplete. Marcus Freeman got the hit on him as he was trying to get rid of the ball, and we check in with Matt Weiner in New York. Matt.
All right, Brad, our nominee for the AT&T ESPN All-America Player of the Week is Iowa running back Sean Green, who reached the 1,000-yard rushing mark today. 217 of those came against Wisconsin. He scored 4 times in the rout over the Badgers. To cast your vote, text the word vote to 51234 on your AT&T wireless phone.
Boy, Sean Green, we were talking with Pat Narduzzi, the defensive coordinator of Michigan State the other day. He said, you think Beanie Wells and those guys are good? Play Sean Green someday. Well, the Green just had to take a timeout. Spartans with a timeout, 1:09 remaining in the third quarter. There's our Bloomin' Onion one. Captain Paul Hino at the controls of the Bloomin' Onion one, giving us some great shots of not just Spartan Stadium, but East Lansing. Thanks, Cap. Good shots. Beautiful day to fly. The ball is flying again to Javon Ringer. And Ringer's got it down to the 29-yard line. A pickup of 5 with a minute remaining in the third quarter. And Cousins still hasn't missed. He's 9 for 9 since taking over for Brian Hoyer.
You know, folks, and you're not seeing things because every time that someone who makes a tackle, 33, Laurinaitis is there. He's either making it or helping out on it. So it's, you know, it's not an illusion. He does make that many tackles, and he knows where the ball is.
And he's directing his troops on that defensive side of the ball. Blair White in motion on third down. Cousins, another first down throw. Mark Dell made the catch.
Boy, is this guy sharp. I mean, that ball's getting there in a hurry.
Yes. And again, people wonder, you know, why isn't this guy starting? Well, if this guy were starting, he would probably be all uptight and nervous the same way that Hoyer was. It just goes to show you that you need to relax and play without the pressure.
On first down, the toss to Ringer. And Javon dropped down. Marcus Freeman made the first contact. And then Holman cleaned up. Charlie Gann gets up limping a little bit. But we've come to the end of the third quarter. Ohio State started early. Michigan State trying to mount a comeback.
I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. I got soul, but I'm not a soldier.
Starting the fourth quarter, and a throw over the middle is incomplete. And that's the first incompletion by Kirk Cousins. And that would have been a good time for one to open up the third quarter. And now they got third down and long coming up. 3rd and 11. This is the 12th play of the drive. Mark Dell has been one of his favorite targets when he needed this much yardage. P.J. Cunningham goes the other way. And White's in the slot. Big play here for Kirk Cousins. Looking right, look out. Down he goes from behind. It's Jenkins. The ball is out. Going the other way. Thaddeus Gibson might take it the distance and does. Touchdown, Ohio State.
That's a game breaker there.
You don't see many defensive tackles cover ground that quickly. Gibson and Laurinaitis hugging there. 3rd turnover and a killer, as Bob said.
Well, you're going to see him come from the right side. It's the corner. He's up and bump. Gibson is there, but so is Jenkins. When you come from behind the quarterback, they all knock it loose nowadays. They all want to shake the ball loose from the quarterback. They did a great job.
Well, the one thing, too, is that Ringer is getting a block, but there were 2 guys coming. He can only take one. Here's the ball out.
69 yards. Gibson took it. Ringer was desperately trying to get there, but Jenkins, the guy that forced the fumble, got in his path.
You think he was down?
That's what they're taking a look at, I think, right now.
Well, if he is, this ball is sitting on his backside. Watch it. The ball goes. No, he's not down. Now watch where the ball bounces back up on his backside, and he just takes it right off his rear end. Boom. Thank you.
No, it was loose.
Another angle, another look. Ball is out as he's on his way to the turf.
It's a great play by one of the best players in the country.
Confirmed. Touchdown.
Malcolm Jenkins is an All-American corner for Ohio State. He had an opportunity to make a play, knocked it loose, and really turn this game around for the rest of the way.
Just when Michigan State had it going their way, had the crowd back into it, they had hope. That hope might have just been completely taken away. Still got 14:41 to play, but it's about to be 35-7 Buckeyes. Well, a thrill for a defensive lineman, no doubt about it. As Bob said, one of the great players, one of the great secondary players in the country makes the hit. The ball comes out from Cousins after the hit by Jenkins, and Thaddeus Gibson says, I'm going the other way. 69 yards for a touchdown. Malcolm Jenkins was one of our impact players at the beginning of the game. He made an impact right there, didn't he? Sack and a forced fumble. And that led to a touchdown. Terrell Pryor warming up.
The other number 2.
They're both playing pretty well.
They are.
Just not on the same field at the same time. Vetri to kick. High. Pooch kick. Somebody better get on it. And they do. Josh Rouse finally lands on it. So backup fullback. We go back out to Matt Weiner, New York.
Thank you, Brad. The Sports Center right now is powered by Vizio. You'll see #1 Texas tonight on ABC. Second-ranked Alabama's in good shape at the moment. John Parker Wilson has thrown a pair of touchdown passes. The Tide leads Ole Miss 24-10. Third-ranked Penn State has closed the gap in Happy Valley with a Darryl Clark touchdown pass. Michigan trying to beat the Lions for the 10th straight time. A couple of touchdown runs from Brandon Meyer, and they have a halftime lead.
Ohio State trying to beat Michigan State here for the 7th straight time, and Brian Hoyer is back in at quarterback for the Spartans. Ringer got about 3 and out to the 35-yard line. It's been tough sledding again for Javon Ringer today. Ohio State last year only gave him 49 yards on the ground. He has 61 today, but it's way below his average. But you can't blame Javon Ringer for what's going on here today. There were too many miscues by Michigan State early in the ball game. They led to points by Ohio State, which always kills you when you have turnovers. And that last one, that might put the topper on it. Here's Javon trying to pop it to the outside. You know, it just looked like Michigan State had a prayer of getting back in this thing on that last drive, though.
Yeah, they're just not good enough. They don't have that good of players. And Hoyer's back in the ball game. It wasn't his head. We understand it was his hand. Something wrong with his hand, so he's back in the ball game. That's good.
What do you think, Paul? Chance here? Still?
No, I don't. I mean, there's 14 minutes. Ohio State's still playing too well, and defensively, they are that much better of a football team.
Hoyer off play action. Fires. Incomplete. Intended for Charlie Gantz, who has the Michigan State touchdown today. Take a look at our ESPNU All-State Standings review. Oklahoma State's won today over Baylor. Texas Tech came from behind to beat A&M, so they're not going to move very far.
USC's winning big.
Yes, they are. BYU lost the other night. Georgia won, and Florida's got the week off. So things are going more as they're supposed to, depending on what Penn State and Michigan do, I guess. And Texas comes up tonight. #1 has been the loneliest number so far this year, as it was near the end of last year. Ray Smalls had some nice punt returns today. There's another pretty good one, 22-yard return. Bates has hit some great kicks, but Ray Smalls taking him back about 20 yards every time he's touched it.
ESPN College Football on ABC. Brought to you by Best Buy. You happier. Your local authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. And Verizon Wireless.
That's a Peanut Barrel. It's been a East Lansing institution for 35 years. It's over there on Grand River Avenue, known for having the best patio in town. They got burgers and all kinds of goodies for quite a mixture. Crowd, old, young, resident, students, you name it. Beanie Wells out for 5 to the 35. And now the clock is Ohio State's ally with 13 minutes to go and a huge lead.
Brad, we started out this ball game wondering if a true freshman quarterback could win the Big Ten title. And certainly Pryor has looked very good here today, and Ohio State has shown their strength throughout. We mentioned 20 starters coming back from a team that was in the championship game last year. Their special teams have been good, their offense has been good, and their defense has really been good.
He hasn't had to pass this half.
Exactly. He hasn't had to pass. Now, all games won't be this way.
4 more for Beanie, and he's about a yard shy of the first down.
What I'm saying is I think there's going to be a time and a place where Todd Beckman will be needed to come in and stretch the field. They won't be able to run without with Beanie without having somebody in there, a threat to throw the ball down the field.
There's Todd, one of the captains, which is odd in that he was such a star a year ago. 25 touchdown passes, and now
he's all Big Ten quarterback last year.
Nice second effort by Beanie Wells to get the first down.
Well, you know, you're seeing two backs. Ringer's one and Beanie Wells is the other one. That these guys read and see everything. You know, a lot of backs will go in the hole, and it's all jammed up. Beanie just went in, was patient enough to step back away from the tackle and then go up back in and get the 2 yards that he needed to get the first down.
Remember, one of his best runs of the day was going left with everybody going that way, and he put the brakes on and reversed his field and got a big gain. He's just rounding into shape now, Beanie. Still not probably 100% with that foot injury, but hadn't seemed to bother him here today. Here he comes again. And he's across the 45 to the 46. Reminder, don't forget, the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues at Martinsville on ABC tomorrow. Our coverage begins with NASCAR Countdown at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Jimmy Johnson trying to hold everybody else off. The number 48 car is the leader right now. Martinsville tomorrow. When that one's done, there's only 4 left.
What'll they finish up at?
Atlanta, I think.
Yeah,
they mess up traffic for about a week.
Well, the Chamber of Commerce is just delighted.
Yeah, they love
to
to have me here. Yeah. Second down at 5. Nice play by Greg Jones on Wells. Jones has had a good game. 16th consecutive run in this half. Loss on the play of about 1.
This offense has taken a drastic change since the 4th game of the year when Tress inserted Pryor to run the offense and instead of Beckman with the first 3 games.
3rd down and 6. They're still not going to throw it, and Beanie's going to get it anyway. Wells down to the 41-yard line.
You just can't say enough about Beanie Wells and his patience when he runs with the football. Now, what's his 31st carry of the game? Yeah, 140 yards so far. These are like a Ringer numbers. But when you watch him run, he just waits, he waits, he waits, he's patient. And if that hole, once it opens, he's in it.
Tell you what, he's earned the scholarship today, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Oof. A little bit winded maybe right now is going to give Maurice Wells a chance. First down at the 46. Pryor going to throw deep left sideline for Robisky, and incomplete. Otis Wiley was back there covering. Well, let's talk about surprises this year, guys.
Well, halfway through the year, let's take a look. Alabama has got to be one of the biggest surprises to me. Penn State, Minnesota, Northwestern. How about the Big 12?
That's been about as good as you can get. There's bad out there too, though.
Now halfway through.
Ooh.
Some really
bad.
Some surprise teams on that list. Wisconsin. Pac-10 is not showing up too well.
Isn't it amazing that as Pryor takes it on the run and a stiff arm at the end of the play to get apparently the first down. You talk about some of the top performances of the year, though. A lot of them are down in the Big 12 with Colt McCoy. Last week leading the win over Sam Bradford and Oklahoma. And then you got Chase Daniel, who plays tonight at Texas.
Yep.
And Graham Harrell had another big game today. And then you think about Javon Ringer. I mean, you come up here and he's had the best performance to this point in the Big Ten season for the Spartans, coming in with a 6-1 record.
He'll be going out as a senior, having not beaten Ohio State.
Right.
He's from the state of Ohio, and there's, what, 26 guys?
A whole bunch of guys from the state of Ohio on Michigan State's team. They're all going to be disappointed with the way this went today. Performers of the week. Stacy took Madonna because she's getting divorced. Paul took his high school. Ursulina, winner last night. Big win.
I hate to see the turmoil that she's gone through, but we were talking about it last night at the office, and well, that's just what we came up with.
Colt McCoy, we just saw his numbers. That's why Greece took him after the win over. I'm Brad Sciullo. I'll tell you why Brad Sciullo is my performer of the week just a second here. On 2nd down and 8 for Ohio State. Maurice Wells hits immediately and lost about a yard. You say, who's Brad Sciullo and why is he your performer of the week? I'll tell you why. Because Brad, out of Uniontown, Pennsylvania, ate a 20-pound hamburger in less than 4 hours this week. And I mean, you can do that, you can do anything.
So that's your hero?
Well, I didn't say my hero, I said my performer of the week.
But you picked him. I was either, it's like Joe the plumber.
The guy's like 5'11", 180 pounds. They ate a 20-pound burger in 3 hours and 49 minutes.
How much weight did he gain?
He must have gained 20 pounds. I don't know.
I mean, you eat a 20-pound hamburger, you gain 20 pounds, right?
Good job, Brad. Said it got a little rough about 3.5 hours in. And I'm sure it was really rough the next day. That's a whole other story. Timeout taken by Ohio State. Ohio State's had all the condiments today. Michigan State hasn't had enough.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Best Buy.
Let's take a look at our Mercedes-Benz Drive recap. 10 plays so far, 9 rushes, good for 36 yards and chewing up clock. That's what Ohio State needs to do, and they are content to do that with a huge lead. But they're going to go long just when I say that. Rubisky knocked away at the last moment. And a flag on Johnny Adams.
You sure it was on Adams?
Maybe not.
The players usually know
Pass
first.
interference, defense, number 5, 15-yard penalty, results in an automatic first down.
First penalty. That's a big one.
Johnny Adams is one of their top recruits. True freshman.
I'd say he's pretty draped all over.
Well, he's got his right arm pulling Rubisky's left arm down, and that's not going to fly.
Speaking of Rubisky, there's Terry and Cynthia right there. Terry wearing his son's jersey and his mom and his little brother, who's also wearing number 80 and is a wide receiver in high school. Oof. Big collision in the hole between Eric Gordon and Brandon Sane.
That pass to Rubisky was right down there where the Ohio State. He's probably right down there in that corner somewhere. All that red, gray.
Yeah, there's a few out there in scarlet and gray today that either made the trip over from Columbus or wherever they might have come from. And they have most of that corner and the upper deck on that side.
His little brother looks kind of tall, doesn't he?
He's like Bob said, I think he's 6'3" or 4", I would guess, with talking to him out there outside the stadium. Good looking young man, as is his brother. And now it's Sane again. Ball, Michigan State saying the ball is out. I don't think it is. No indication anyway of a change of possession. Well, we've had some great shots today from above Spartan Stadium, courtesy of our friends at Outback Steakhouse, proud sponsor of the Outback Bowl. The Bloomin' Onion One Airship, fan favorite everywhere it goes, and beautiful pictures on a absolutely gorgeous fall football day. Finally, we got some football weather. We're in the 50s. It's amazing. Week in and week out, we're complaining that we need a fan up in the booth. Today, we're looking for heaters. We're never happy, are we?
Never happy.
3rd down, 13. And a blitz will come on Pryor, and he's going to loft it to the corner, but his receiver broke the pattern off at about the 14-yard line and incomplete.
See that again, when a receiver reads coverage one way, he adjusts his route, and the quarterback's got to be on the same page with him. That's Rabisky, number 80, and he's been around here a while.
And he's a captain, and I'm pretty sure he knows what he's doing.
So I got to think that he ran the right route, and the quarterback did the wrong throw.
That's what he's telling probably Terrell right now. He's going, hey, it's not going to hurt us, young man, right now. We got a big lead. But here's what I was seeing. 40-yard field goal attempts by Aaron Petrie. And as things have gone well today for Ohio State, so goes the field goal that adds to the lead with 5:27 remaining in the ball game. All Buckeyes. There's a good look at East Lansing and Spartan Stadium, where a disappointed crowd. Obviously, a lot of them have gone, and the red jerseys remain. The Ohio State fans are going to enjoy every minute of this, as they'll be beating Michigan State for the 7th straight time. And really a commanding performance by the Buckeyes. Out to the 35, Andrew Hawken.
Takes the kickoff to the 35.
And it looks like Cousins is coming back in as we take a look at our Best Buy playbook. We'll turn it over to Bob.
All right, when a quarterback's at the line of scrimmage and you're on the left hash mark, short side of the field, always look at the corner. If he's up and bump and run, he may come. You got to look at him after you get the snap of the ball, because these guys are sneaky. And they act like they're not coming, and they come. This is one of the best guys in the nation at cornerback. Jenkins, big turnover, 7 points the other way.
Cousins going to have to throw this one away as he got pressure from Holman, the outside linebacker. Now, we talked about game plan coming in. One team pulled theirs off to perfection, and the other one didn't.
Well, look at Michigan State. We said defense had to lead the way. They didn't get anything done. No takeaways. They had an opportunity to get some, but they didn't. And they just gave the ball to Beanie, and
Beanie did his thing.
Terrell Pryor helped them a little bit. They were safe. It was a safe game. They didn't have to take any chances. Terrell Pryor was in a safe mode the whole ball game.
Here's a throw complete out to Blair White, out to the 39-yard line in front of Malcolm Jenkins. You know, Michigan State fans are going to hope that what happened in 2003 when they started 7-1 and turned around, or in 2005 when they were 4-0 and went 1-6, or in 2006 3-0 became a 4-8. And last year, 4-0 became a 7-6. Now, a lot of that corresponds with who they've had to play those years in a loaded back end of the schedule. And had they won today, you'd figure that maybe they would have been favored in every game that they were to play until the end of the year when they take on Penn State on November 22nd. So now you look at their schedule, and they're going to be 6-2 and 3-1 in conference play. But they still got an opportunity to really put together a fine season and a big-time bowl. Throw is complete out to Gantz. Got it down to the 29-yard line. So you look at their schedule, here's kind of what I'm talking about. They're going to lose this one.
4 games left.
At Michigan, where Michigan has struggled. Wisconsin and Purdue, not the kind of seasons they were hoping to have. And then
both at home.
At Penn State.
So it looks like, you know, they could win 2 or 3 out of those, you think?
Well, I can assure you one thing. That's all it's going to be in the papers for the next week anyway. Are they going to fold like they have in the past?
Yep.
And that's not fair to these guys with a new coaching staff.
Javon Ringard out of the 25. Javon has had to earn everything that he's accomplished today. Our Pacific Life game summary. Beanie Wells, as Bob said, give it to Beanie. Do the Beanie hop. 140 yards and a couple touchdowns, his 1,300-yard career game. And then the opportunistic defense, that last play by Gibson that went 69 yards for a defensive score. So Ohio State got some big plays. Remember, they had a fumble recovery when Michigan State had something going. Donald Washington took it all the way back down. That turned into points for him. Prior, he had the luxury of having a nice lead to play with and didn't have to pass a lot. And the defense has just been stellar all day long.
Somewhere along the line, they're going to need Todd Beckman.
Oh, big-time collision. Kurt Coleman on Mark Dell.
I'll tell you, Mark Dell knew this was coming. I mean, he could see it coming. He just stuck his arm out, made really not a great attempt at catching the ball because he knew that Coleman was going to hit him. Watch this. Take a look at Dell, number 2 and 4. Watch the collision. He sees him. Yahoo.
Coleman, who also has an interception today. Michigan State's going to have to take a timeout right here with 4th down coming up. 4th and 5 with 3:18 left. And a young quarterback whose eyes are pretty big, but he played pretty big today when he got his chance. If you get the paper tomorrow morning, you pick up the Lansing State Journal, you probably aren't going to like what you see. The headline might say the eyes have it, because they've got this one with 3:18 remaining. They've got it going away. This is going to open up some eyes again for the people that thought maybe Ohio State wasn't as good. And you know, they come in ranked 12th, depending on what goes on the rest of today and tonight. They might move up that list a little bit.
But if everybody does lose one game going down the way, and Ohio State's only lost one game, I would think that because of what's happened the last couple of years in the championship game, that Ohio State would probably be at the tail end or toward the bottom of all of the one-loss teams.
Right.
I mean, because I don't think they have the national respect because of the 2 previous years.
The perception of being in the national title game and getting knocked around pretty good sticks in a lot of people's minds.
And also this year's game with USC out on the West Coast, the 3rd game of the year.
Penalty marker at the end of the play as Mark Dell is knocked out of bounds. Might have a personal foul at the end of the play. And the call upcoming.
The receiver went out of bounds on his own, was the first to touch the ball. Illegal touching on the offense. The result of the play goes back to the previous spot. It's a loss of down foul. First down.
It's that kind of day. That kind of day. And that was on 4th down. So you lose the down, you lose the ball.
He explained it well. The receiver cannot, if he gets pushed out of bounds and comes right back in, he can be the first to touch it. But if you go out of bounds on your own, all bets are off.
Talking about teams around the country, Texas #1 playing tonight. Alabama in the SEC #2. Remember, the BCS comes out tomorrow afternoon for the first time. Oklahoma's a one-loss team, but look how high they are right there.
How about the comparison of the 2 conferences, Brad, the Big 12 and the SEC? Paul, what do you think?
Well, you know, I like the Big 12. I really do. I think, you know, these guys play basically wide open football.
That's why I like the Big 12, because you can play a lot of offenses.
They put the ball in the air.
Yeah, they love to throw it.
I'd say the defenses aren't nearly as good as the SEC.
We knew Grease had too much sleep last night when he got in the car this morning and he said, what if Oklahoma runs the table and they don't even have to play in the Big 12 championship and they get to play in the national championship? There you go. Think about that one for a minute.
That was right after cup of coffee number 12.
Because Texas, you know, Texas
beat
them.
them.
I know. I'm just explaining it to our listeners.
We have there's some wheels turning out there right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that can happen. It happened a few years ago.
Yep.
I mean, that would be a good way for Oklahoma to get in the championship game. Not having to worry about that Big 12 championship game.
Joe Bauserman's in at quarterback for the Buckeyes, getting an opportunity to play. Redshirt freshman out of Strasburg, Virginia. Jim Tressel's able to play some of his second-line guys. Timeout taken by Michigan State. That's their last one.
It's not because he's mad at Todd Beckman or he feels like he's not capable of playing. It's just that, you know, he's a 5th-year senior and he's above this. He's above going in at the end of the game and running out the time.
It would be an insult to him. I think it would be an insult to him to say, okay, you go in there and clean up. You've been our star quarterback for a lot of years.
And this kid,
you've done so many wonderful things, but you're not playing now, so let's go into the end.
This kid's a redshirt freshman, and he loves to get in late in the game.
Alabama's got a fight on their hands in the fourth quarter, we understand. Close game with Ole Miss. So wouldn't that be something if Alabama, something happened to them, something happened to Penn State? It'd be another one of those weekends.
Yeah.
Penn State playing Michigan right now. And they should just about be ready for the fourth quarter if they're not. Maurice Wells wrapped up and dropped at the line of scrimmage.
There's a look at Pryor, number 2. Had a great game today. You know, we talked. He only threw the ball 11 times, and he rushed it. How many times he rushed it? About
12 for 72.
Yeah, there you go.
One of those, an 18-yard touchdown run where he just put it on cruise control and headed to the corner of the end zone.
But
and that guy's been the leader on the other side of the ball.
On defense. Yep.
11 tackles, a sack, and a big smile for James, who is, if not the best linebacker. Last year, the Butkus Award winner. Everybody thought he was. He might be going back and winning another one of those. Who knows?
Well, the thing about him that scares me is yesterday the first time I ever really had a chance to talk to him. He's so quiet, and he wants to rip your neck off.
James had the headphones on when he came onto the field yesterday. I said, "What are you listening to?" He said, "Kenny Chesney's new album." There's his dad, Joe, looking on. And he says, "This is a more mild Kenny Chesney. And it's not like the beach country music. This one's kind of reflective." So I said, "So you're kind of in your reflective mode, James." And you look at him, and his neck is about 23 inches around.
I swear to God, we did the interviews with him. He's got more muscles in his neck than I have in my entire body. Just on the right side of his neck.
And now he's got a chance to move around a little bit out there to the music late in the game, knowing that they're going to go back to Columbus 7-1 and unbeaten in conference play.
And this is when you know you're on the right side of the score. When you run second half, you run 23 runs and 2 passes.
Right. Another nice punt. Chases Wiley, and he's dropped immediately by Jenkins, who's had a whale of a game on both special teams and on the defensive side of things. Let's check in with Matt Weiner in New York. Matt.
All right, Brad, North Carolina has led at Virginia for about 3.5 quarters of this game, but Cedric Pierman finishes off an 82-yard touchdown drive with 47 seconds to go, and the Cavaliers have tied that game up at 10. Time permitting, we'll take you to the finish in Charlottesville, where Carolina's trying to win for the first time since '81. Penn State is now tied up Michigan 17-all in the third in Happy Valley.
What has happened to Virginia in the last 3 weeks or so? Deep ball down the middle, almost intercepted. Anderson Russell diving to try to catch it.
They're the 2 freshmen right there. The center, Brewster, right behind Pryor, number 50.
Usually don't have a battery of freshman to freshman there, do you?
No, you don't. And they seem to be getting along just fine, thank you. I mean, those 2 guys are gems, but they're very rare in this world where a true freshman can come in and start at center or start at quarterback.
Cousins deep, intended for Cunningham, incomplete. And Michigan State may be down to the last couple of plays here. Well, there's going to be brighter days and better days ahead for Mark D'Antonio and the Spartans, because they put a nice solid foundation in here on this Michigan State team. This was just kind of floodgates opened up on them today. All the things they've done right so far this year kind of came apart on them early in this game, and they were never able to regain their footing, if you will.
Both he and his good friend Jim Tressel across the way, both of their fathers were coaches.
And there's so much intertwining. I think a lot of you know Mark D'Antonio was Jim's defensive coordinator at Ohio State for 3 years, including the national championship season. They're such good friends And, you know, they go way back to the Youngstown State days where they won national championships there. Jim was there. Mark was there with them. He calls him not only one of my best friends, but my mentor. And he speaks in glowing terms of Jim Tressel every time that we have a chance to spend time with him.
I ask, in fact, Mike Tressel is the linebacker coach for Michigan State. I asked Tress before the ball game, I said, how long have you known Mark, or Dino as they all call him? And he said, well, we were way back when we were together at Ohio State in Youngstown State. He says it's about 25 years they've known each other.
This ball is picked up, and down the sideline goes Jermail Hines for apparently another touchdown. I thought the play was dead on the far side of the field. And instead, Ohio State adds 6 more.
You know, let's just get back for a second. This Ohio State defense that you were talking about way at the beginning of this game. You talk about ball hawks. When the ball's in the air, these guys react to the ball, not to the player. A lot of teams you see defensive backs will react to a player instead of the ball. But these guys, how many guys, if you think about it, are in the pros that played defensive corner or safety for Ohio State over the years? There are a lot of them. These kids are good.
Well, this is going to make the final score look a lot worse or better, depending on, I guess, what color T-shirt you're wearing today. See the throw on Cousins to the outside and complete there to White, and then he's hit, and before his knee was able to hit, was picked up by Jermail Hines, and he just cruises down the sideline. Needed one block and got it. James Laurinaitis is going go that way.
He's yelling because that's the 4th takeaway for that defense here this afternoon.
And 21 points off them. Today, our Chevrolet players of the game for Michigan State and Ohio State. James Laurinaitis, a sack and 11 tackles. It seemed like he had 21. Greg Jones had 13 tackles for Michigan State. In recognition of their efforts, Chevy will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Congratulations, those 2 young guys. Well, a nearly empty Spartan Stadium in front of about 80,000 today. When it all started, there was so much hope and promise. And there'll be more of that in the future, but not today. It was all Buckeyes. 15 seconds remaining. Ball fielded by Winston at the 7. And Winston out to the 30-yard line, where Michigan State's got a play or 2 left. Ohio State, first quarter, they had 21 points in a span of 5.5 minutes. And when that happens to you, whether the wheels come off or not, the lug nuts get a little bit loose, and they never got them tightened again after that.
What are you doing there, partner? You talking some NASCAR?
Well, we could do that tomorrow.
The lug nuts.
Yes.
Lug nuts come off the car.
You don't have a guy. You don't have a guy in the race, so keep it down.
Could be the last snap for Michigan State as they'll fall to 6-2. Ohio State will be 7-1 after this play, and it might be the way the day started with a sack or an interception. And it's an interception. The ball is out at the end, but Ohio State wins it 45-7. And that is officially turnover number 5. Too many turnovers, too much Terrell Pryor, too much Buckeyes today. They win it by a score of 45-7. Once again, our final score 45-7. For Bob, Paul, and Stacy, Brad Nessler saying so long as we head to the studio.